All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to dig into a really old story that gets right to the heart of two powerful human emotions, greed and fear. It comes from the Gospel of Luke, and let me tell you, its message about what we truly value is just as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago. So the whole thing kicks off with this really stark idea: there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed. You see, it immediately sets the stage with this theme of ultimate accountability, the idea that secrets, well, they don't stay secret forever. It's like a warning shot, right? It tells you to pay close attention to what's coming next. So, with that idea of everything coming to light, that brings us to our first big topic: fear. But the text doesn't just talk about fear in general. No, it proposes a pretty radical shift in perspective. It really wants to make us ask, what or who should we actually be afraid of? Okay, so look at this. The text draws the super clear line in the sand. On one side, you've got things that can only cause temporary physical harm, but on the other, you have a power that deals with eternal consequences. So the point isn't, hey, never be afraid. Nope. It's more like, make sure you're afraid of the right things. It's a real challenge to our everyday anxieties. And then, just as we're wrestling with this huge existential idea, the text just pivots to something, well, something almost ridiculously ordinary: the market price of sparrows, 5 of them for 2 pennies. This wasn't some random number. It showed that these little birds were considered pretty much worthless in the eyes of people. And here's the twist. Even though people thought they were basically worthless, the text says not a single one is forgotten by God. And that one little detail, it makes this huge point about a totally different value system, one that has absolutely nothing to do with money. So you see where this is going, right? The whole argument builds up to this really powerful moment of reassurance. If this ultimate authority knows and values these tiny creatures that people sell for pocket change, then how much more valuable are you? It's basically saying, stop being afraid that you don't matter. Okay, so just as we're trying to wrap our heads around all this deep spiritual stuff, bam, the story just yanks us in a totally different direction. The abstract teaching gets slammed by a very real, very down-to-earth problem. I mean, can you imagine? Some guy in the crowd just yells this out, totally derailing the whole conversation. It's like you're at this profound lecture on the meaning of life, and someone interrupts to ask about a family money squabble. The focus just crashes, right? From the eternal all the way down to a fight over cash. And the response here is, it's just fascinating. He completely sidesteps being a judge. Instead, he flips it around and uses this interruption as a teachable moment, getting right to the root of the problem: greed. And right here, this is the thesis for the whole story that's about to happen. It's this super powerful definition of what life isn't. It just goes straight for that common idea that more stuff equals a better life and says, nope, that's not it. It perfectly sets the stage for what comes next. So to really drive this point home, he tells this short, punchy story. It's famously known as the parable of the rich fool, and wow, it is a masterclass in getting a big idea across quickly. So the story kicks off, and it's not about some evil villain. It's about a successful guy. And get this, he's got a problem most of us would kill for. His business is just too successful. He's got more than he knows what to do with, a victim of his own success. I mean, if you look at it from a pure business standpoint, his plan makes perfect sense, right? He sees the problem, not enough storage, and he comes up with a solution: scale up, build bigger, secure the future. His goal is total security, so he can just kick back and relax. But did you notice the language he uses? It's all I, my stuff, my barn. And just when he's popping the champagne, celebrating this perfect plan for a long, cushy retirement, that's when the hammer drops. A divine voice just cuts in, and his whole world gets turned upside down in a single sentence. All that careful planning, it was for a future he was never even gonna see. Wow. So that shocking ending, it's not just there for dramatic effect. It's meant to force us to ask that central question: what is real wealth? If it's not all that grain in those brand new barns, then what in the world is it? You see, the whole point of the story comes down to the big flaws in this guy's thinking. He wasn't a fool because he was successful. No, not at all. He was a fool because his whole world was just so small. It was all about him. He thought he was in total control. And here's the kicker, right? He feared the wrong thing. He was terrified of running out of stuff, of not having enough security, but he gave zero thought to that ultimate authority the text warned him about right at the beginning. So this is the big conclusion, the main takeaway from the whole thing. The parable isn't just about this one rich guy. It's a blueprint for two totally different ways to live. It's this stark contrast between just piling up stuff for yourself versus building a completely different kind of wealth, being rich toward God. And that's where the story leaves us, with this really practical, kind of haunting question. After all that work, all the planning, all the stacking up of stuff, if your time is up tonight, who gets it all? And more importantly, what good did it actually do for you? It's a question that's designed to stick with you, to make you take a hard look at where you're really putting your security and what you treasure most.